Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Hiring a great defender is one of the Warriors' needs and priorities, due to the weak defensive production of this squad. Warriors making big trade with Pelicans. Golden State Warriors receive Herbert Jones. New Orleans Pelicans receive Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. Herbert Jones could elevate the Warriors' defense to new heights with his elite perimeter defense and versatility. Jones averaged 1.4 steals per game last season, 1.8 in 4 appearances this season, showcasing his ability to disrupt passing lanes and guard multiple positions. His hustle and energy would make him an instant fan favorite at Chase Center, while his cutting and transition play would complement Golden State's motion-heavy offense. Jones' ability to guard star forwards like Kevin Durant and LeBron James makes him a valuable addition for a team looking to contend in a stacked Western Conference. While his shooting will only get better, 41.8% from 3 last season, his defensive prowess more than compensates. Plugging Jones into the starting lineup alongside Draymond Green would give the Warriors a defensive backbone to counter high-octane offenses in the playoffs. The Pelicans could accept this trade because Jonathan Kuminga offers significant upside with his raw athleticism and versatility, aligning with their young core of Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Moses Moody is another enticing piece, as his shooting and defense complement their roster needs. This deal would also give New Orleans more offensive firepower, which they've lacked at times, while alleviating the financial burden of future extensions for their role players. The Golden State Warriors have been looking for a new star who can complement Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. ESPN's Shams Charania stated in his appearance at NBA Today that the organization could look to explore for their next star before the trade deadline. According to Charania, there are 2 possible ways the Warriors could address their concern. One way would be to trade for a star before the trade deadline. The other way would be to hone and develop a player within the roster who could take up the mantle of Curry's sidekick. I'm told that the Warriors are on the real hunt for a star, Charania said. A playmaker, a scorer, alongside Stephen Curry. You think back to the summer when they pursued Lauri Markkanen with the Utah Jazz, they made a pitch for Paul George as a free agent with the Clippers, and the debate with the Warriors and teams that look into that situation is for them, are they going to find that externally, outside of this roster, currently? Or will it be in-house, with a player like Jonathan Kuminga? While there are options, the franchise is still unsure of which path to take. The Warriors' future will be shaped, over the next few weeks and the next couple of months before the trade deadline. How can they get that next championship with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green? The Warriors had a great start to the 2024-25 NBA season. However, injuries to Curry and Green have slowed them down. Golden State has a 13-8 record in the Western Conference, still good for 5th place. While the Golden State Warriors are rumored to make moves before the trade deadline, ESPN's Brian Windhorst explained why a trade could be difficult. According to Windy, the Warriors can't take any more money via trade and have a limited space in their salary cap. Any trade that the Warriors make is going to be complicated, Windhorst said. They have only $500,000 that they're allowed to spend more in this season. Any trade that they make, they can't really take on more money. Steve Kerr moves to ease growing injury concern among Warriors fans. The Warriors got the job done without Stephen Dre on Thursday. The Golden State Warriors finally broke their 5-game losing streak on Friday, with Jonathan Kuminga's career-high 33 points leading the way in a 99-93 victory over the Houston Rockets at Chase Center. There are still concerns for the Warriors, and perhaps none more so than lingering injury issues for star duo Stephen Curry and Draymond. Both missed Thursday's game as the hosts gritted their way to a low-scoring, defensive-minded win. Green also missed Tuesday's loss to the Denver Nuggets due to a calf injury, while Curry continues to manage his knee concern that also saw him absent from last week's loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Steve Kerr has moved to ease concerns on Warriors duo Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Just months till their 37th and 35th birthdays respectively, any nagging injury for Curry and Green sends some anxiety through Warrior fans. With 6 trips to the NBA Finals under their belts, the workload placed upon the storied duo has been significant throughout their careers. Golden State also remain heavily reliant on Curry and Green, likely to an extent that both the franchise and fans would be disappointed with at times. The lack of another consistent 20-plus point scorer to support Curry has been an ongoing issue, while Green continues to be just as important to the Warrior defense than his long-term teammate is to the offense. Head coach Steve Kerr did move to ease growing concerns prior to Thursday's game, suggesting that both Curry and Green could each still play in Friday's second night of a back-to-back against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Warriors had earlier announced that an MRI on Green's calf had come back negative, raising optimism that the 4X All-Star won't miss too much time beyond his current 2-game absence. Green had led Golden State to the league's 4th-ranked defense through the first 15 games, but they slipped to 20th during the 5-game slide. The challenges keep coming for the Warriors, who've just begun a grueling December schedule. Friday's matchup with the Timberwolves will be the first of 3 over the next 15 days, with last season's Western Conference finalists starting to find some form after a horrid start. Minnesota had lost 7 of 9 games but have since won 3 in a row, including a blowout 108-80 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers on Wednesday. The Timberwolves have won each of the past 4 games against the Warriors by an average of just 4 points, but are a vastly different-looking team following the blockbuster trade that sent Karl-Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks and returned them Julius Randle and former Warrior Donte DiVincenzo. The Warriors are yet to submit their injury report for Friday's game at the time of publication. Major Warrior strength has dramatically shifted into a big problem. The tables have turned for the worse rather quickly. Less than 2 weeks ago the Golden State Warriors were flying, sitting atop the Western Conference with a 12-3 record that saw them as one of the biggest surprises in the NBA. Since then the Warriors have fallen into a 5-game losing streak, the last of which came in a 119-115 defeat to the Denver Nuggets after leading by 11 in the 4th quarter. They've quickly slid to 6th in the West standings, and with an incredibly difficult December schedule and sitting only 1.5 games ahead of the 11th seed, the signs are ominous that Golden State could fall further. The Warriors' bench has shifted from huge strength to major problem. The initial success was born from a rejuvenation of the strength in numbers approach, with Steve Kerr leaning on a deep rotation that saw production from so many players across the roster. Through the first 15 games the Warrior bench was annihilating teams on both ends of the floor, led by veteran sharpshooter Buddy Hield, who was appearing an inspired offseason acquisition. Golden State ranked 3rd in bench net rating through the first month of the season, sitting only behind the Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder. They were 1st in bench scoring, while also recording the most rebounds, the most steals, and ranking 2nd in assists behind the Memphis Grizzlies. Yet since then, the Warrior bench has dramatically shifted from a major advantage to a big problem. They've slid from 3rd in net rating to 27th across the last 5 games, playing a critical role in the losing streak Golden State now find themselves on. No one has characterized the turnaround more than Hield, who's cooled off significantly after his lightning start. The veteran sharpshooter had 20 points or more in 6 of his first 7 games, but has failed to reach that mark since while having only 3 games of more than 12 points in his last 12 appearances. With Hield failing to provide anywhere near the same offensive firepower, the Warrior bench has struggled mightily on that end of the floor. They simply don't have enough shooters, natural scorers or experienced facilitators to find efficient offense, resulting in the 2nd worst field goal percentage in the league over the last 5 games. Where the Warriors were previously lauded for their enormous depth, they're now being criticized for not providing Stephen Curry with enough support in the way of another go-to scorer. It's a concern many had raised prior to the season, with that now lifting to the surface in an issue the franchise quickly needs to address one way or another.